Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor, and after getting off of the M1000RR back there, hiding in the background, I got the opportunity to rest a little bit on this 2020, I don't know if it's a 1 or a 2, BMW K1600 GT. The K1600 is BMW's Grand Touring model of bike, and this GT is kind of the not full tilt top level with the top box and everything, but pretty darn close. Kind of Grand Touring model, if you will. All the luxury that BMW Motorrad bikes have to offer, and the performance as well of this inline 6. When you get on it hard, it does kind of sound like an older, naturally aspirated BMW 6-cylinder in a car, for those of you who are more familiar with the car world than the bike world, but all sorts of great luxuries as well. Power adjusted windshield, a very advanced Tft Infotainment display, which we'll mess around a little bit while we're riding. Super premium materials everywhere. Look at this very classy seat, remarkably comfortable, great riding position. It is heavy, well over 700 pounds, but once you're moving, it feels great. Everything's very well damped, very well sorted out on the road. This GT model comes with these side bags that you can simply pop and crack open like so. Looks like we've got some documentation in there as well as some wash and wax, very important. I didn't even notice it rolling around in there as we ride. Exhaust tips on either side for all of the cylinders. Some auxiliary lights to help you be visible and help see things as you're out riding. And this beautiful paint color for this model. This is the option 719 with this white paint looking excellent. So without any further ado, let's hop on this thing. Like I said, this isn't a super raw first impression as I've already ridden it down into Coachella Valley here after riding the M1000RR, but I can tell you a little bit about my experience, and we're going to ride it through the city back to home base. Still got adjustable brake lever, adjustable clutch lever. Everything is super premium in here. Proximity key. BMW comes to life right there. Make life a ride. Heave this thing up onto its two wheels off the side stand. Clutch in, and away we go. It's uncanny for a motorcycle to have an engine this smooth. It's really quite interesting. But I've been enjoying it. Oh, looks like a whole bunch of traffic coming down the hill. See, our windshield can adjust all the way down, like so, if you want a little extra airflow. But I'm probably going to keep it up so that you all can hear me best. Now you'd think, looking at the spec sheet, oh, it's a big heavy bike, 700 some pounds, looking at this thing physically, that it would be just not enjoyable to toss around, but that really isn't the case. I mean, you do have to get comfortable with it. Getting off something like that M1000RR that weighs nearly half of this thing, I definitely had to get comfortable with pushing the weight into the corners and squeezing down on the brakes to make this thing comfortable around the corners. But once you do, you really get to enjoy this gem of an engine. Ton of torque on this, 130 some foot-pounds of torque and mid 150s, 160s of horsepower. I've been looking at a lot of specs today. And a BMW quick shifter, if you will. They have some proprietary term for it, but you can just hammer it a few times, no clutch lever. And listen to that. That's pretty fun. About 80% throttle, you start to get a really cool intake noise. Intake growl. Really no exhaust, but the engine does like to scream, and it sounds pretty darn sweet. But gobs of torque even down low. I'm doing about highway speed here, and if I lean on it at 6, I can still pass people. I can maneuver whatever which way I want. Nice upright riding position. A little bit more wind than I would have expected I guess having never ridden one of these big ultra cruiser touring sort of bikes, I kind of expected to be in this silent bubble, but I'm really not. At 5'10" and 32-inch inseam, I'm getting some wind noise on the top of my helmet. If I duck down like this, it's entirely silent. But up here, I'm getting wind on the top of my face shield and helmet, and it's definitely not loud, and it's not buffety, it's just more noticeable than I would have expected. Three different drive modes: dynamic, rain, and road. I've been riding around in dynamic. That's going to give you the most snappy throttle response. It's still a little muted. You can still feel a super small gap between when you twist and when you actually get power. It's, of course, an electronically controlled throttle, but it's also going to give you the most aggressive traction control in that mode. Riding in California is stressful, man. It's not the same as riding in Michigan, and admittedly, I don't ride. Oh, okay, he's gonna do that too. All right, well. I don't ride this way, guys. I ride very passively, I guess. And here in California, it's kind of like, well, you're gonna make it happen. You're gonna filter and split lanes and get yourself to where you're going just that much quicker. Oh, we're stopped at the light. Let's go through some of our screens. You got this main screen right up, kind of showing you your tachometer and everything. But then with these buttons on the left, you can toggle through, and even in the super bright sunlight, I can see things just fine. You've got media, if you had Bluetooth hooked up or anything, phone controls, setting. You rotate back and forth with this toggle. You kind of twist it back and forth, and then you can go up and down through selections or volume. Actually, typically it's volume control by twisting that. If I wanted to go over to my vehicle, press menu down, and then I'm looking at all the stats like distance to empty, engine temp, oil temp, tire pressures. Nice to have right in there. And I can go through all these different onboard computers, trip computer. There's my tire pressures. Service requirements. Looks like I have 5,300 miles until this bike needs to be serviced again. You can even use the quick shifter between first and second. So really, if you don't want to, you don't ever have to use that clutch. You do have a bumpin' radio on this as well. We're not going to be doing a sound test on the bike necessarily, but if we weren't going to get copywritten, then I would play some tunes for you. I just can't get over how smooth the engine is. Everything, every shift, every input is so precise. I guess I'm not necessarily surprised. I just think it's cool. I'm still using the clutch out of habit, but I really don't have to. You can just click right up through the gears. Yeah, I could see myself doing a lot of miles on this bike and having a really good time doing it. Now, admittedly, you do feel the weight. There's no getting around that. And I kind of feel like I'd sure much rather be on this than the R18 Tour and bagger that we rode last year. I just find this is more my speed. This is more like a sport bike for the ultimate comfort sport bike. And it's beautiful. I think it's really striking, really cool looking, very approachable. Well, thank you all so much for watching. I'm going to add some footage here from the winding road section that I shot for this bike so y'all can enjoy some more sporty riding in the hills. And we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.